Hi there, Patrice Juwandono here. Today's topic is testing listening comprehension. In testing listening comprehension, we have to bear in mind some of the facts about listening, which is actually not a very easy skill to do. But anyhow, we are going to deal with that. So let's dive into that. Yeah, so this is the topic for today, testing listening comprehension. Now, a few words about listening is that, as I said before, listening is a complex skill because sound is not permanent. It's fleeting. Fleeting means it only exists for several seconds before it disappears. As you listen to my voice only exists for a fraction of seconds before it's gone. You cannot hear anymore because it's gone. It's fleeting. It's not permanent. That's different from written input or written text. If it is a written text, like the one that you see on my slide, it is permanent. You can always see that from time to time because it exists permanently. But a voice only exists for a fraction of seconds before it's gone. And therefore, listening comprehension or listening skill requires a good auditory and cognitive skills. Yeah, why cognitive skills? Because as you listen to someone speaking, you have to activate your thinking. You have to receive the input as well as connect the information to your long-term memory, and you have to remember the information in such a way so that you can reproduce the information if necessary. Now that makes listening a complicated skill. But of course, with training, you'll be able to listen well. Okay, testing listening comprehension. I'm going straight into how we test listening comprehension. There are several ways or several types. First is testing for the discrete elements of language. Discrete here means separate, not unified, not as a whole, but separate elements of language. That's called discrete. So for example, the tester says fast, and then the test taker has to choose one of the two options here, either fast or vast. So it's a test of the ability to perceive the sound difference between f and v, fast and vast. Okay, and then in another item, the tester might say pin, and the test taker chooses one of the two options, either pin or pin. Now, of course, the correct answer is pin. And here, fast, the correct answer is A, fast. So that's one alternative. Let's go to another. This one is testing for limited responses. The test takers listen to short speech to produce only limited responses. For example, the tester says, "Where are you from?" And then the test taker should answer, "Indonesia." That's a very short answer or limited response. The next item, the tester might ask, "What school did you go to?" And then the tester, during this, answers SMA3. That's the school where they went to when they were in the senior high school. Okay, so this is number 2, testing for limited responses, listening to a brief question and then producing short or limited responses. Number 3 is testing for instruction comprehension, meaning the testing of the ability to follow instruction. So for example, the test takers have to listen to a short instruction and then follow it. So the tester says, "Draw a circle on the center of the page." Now draw another smaller circle beside it and color it red. And then the test taker who has been listening to this, draw the circle. One circle, and then beside that circle there is another circle, a smaller circle, and then they have to color it with red color as instructed. Okay, that's the third one. The fourth is like this: testing for comprehension, listening to a longer speech to obtain some details. For example, the tester says, "Good morning, with John Palmer here with the weather forecast. Today is going to be sunny, but expect to have some shower at around 4 in the afternoon." So this is a short speech, yeah, or a longer speech, longer than the previous one, of course. Yeah. Suppose this is a weather forecast from a radio or from a TV. And then the question goes like this: when will it rain today? And the test taker has to write down in the answer sheet 4 in the afternoon. Okay, so this answer is in response to the speech input here, to the oral input here. Okay, remember that if you want to make this, then you have to produce a longer speech, yeah, and then you ask questions to the test takers, and the test takers have to retrieve the right information and write it down on their answer sheet. Okay. The next one is testing for global comprehension. This one is listening to a long speech, for example, a lecture, yeah, 15 or 20 minutes lecture. The purpose is to obtain the main ideas and some main details. So, for example, the input is a long speech about modern farming. Yeah, there's a long speech about modern farming, lasting 15 to 20 minutes. And then the question is, mention 3 kinds of modern farming. So that's the question. And the next question would be, summarize the steps that citizens need to take to practice modern farming. Yeah, so these 2 questions will ask the test takers to produce responses, to produce written responses in their answer sheet. Of course, the responses could be long, yeah, written, long sentences, yeah, long answers, according to the questions. Okay, but in this kind of task, of course, they are allowed to make some notes, to jot down some notes, to scribble some notes, to capture the ideas from the lecture, from the long speech. Yeah, this is a sort of simulates the real demand in our college or in universities, where students have to listen to the professor's speech, they have to make notes, yeah, and then they have to answer some questions based on the speech that they have just listened to. Okay, so that's a kind of a simulation to a modern college situation. Okay, so that's it. Now about the possible formats for testing listening is you can have multiple choice, you can have short answer, you can ask them to draw something or to fill out a form, or take some dictation, take a dictation. Here, of course, you read a few sentences or a text, and then they have to take the dictation. They have to write down what you say, the words that you say in such a way so that they can make up the whole or the complete text. It can also be short essay. The last one, the last example that I have just explained demonstrates this. The students or the test takers have to listen to a longer speech and they have to produce a short essay, short summary, yeah, short notes based on the speech that they have just listened to. Okay, so that's it, students. Of course, good luck then.